Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New York Open Show. Yours truly, Mandela Fobler, here with you today. I do apologize, starting a few moments late. So we have moved house, and we've been graciously allowed to use this second location, and we're able to still stream live to you today. Last trading day of the week, because tomorrow is 4th of July. Happy 4th of July for everybody who is celebrating. Also, just be mindful that the markets do close half day today. So for those of you in New York, that's going to be 1 p.m. And then you can basically break that out from there. Just know that it's a abbreviated trading session today for anybody who is trading. Welcome on board the New York Open. We will see markets open very shortly. And we're going to be very conscious of the fact that there may be light volume, and that is due to potentially some people preparing for the 4th of July. So I guess the first thing that I would like to say is thank you for the opportunity and the platform to provide these sort of shows. We are looking at expanding these, and we're also looking at including things like giveaways and beefing them up quite a bit. But in the early stages, it's always a bit of a teething process. So that's kind of what we're going through now. But if you stick with us, a lot more tremendous videos are to come. I think one of the sayings that comes to mind is the best is yet to come. So with that, let's put on a little bit of music in the background here. Get a little bit of music going. And we're going to have a look at what's happening in financial markets overnight as we approach the New York Open. All right, there we go. I just want to make sure, I do want to apologize. Last week, we did get some feedback from some of the CTI viewers that we weren't as attentive to the CTI live chat. So that's something that we are working on. We are planning to have better visibility. So please feel free, if you are watching us live, deciding to kick it with us on this Thursday, feel free to post in the live chat, and we'll come through and address all of your comments, concerns, thoughts, even maybe what you're trading as well. All right, let's see here. I'm going to have a look at the live chat now and see what's going on here. And let's pop up the charts. Yeah, so the new place that we've just moved into, we've been told that the soonest that we can get internet is next week, Tuesday. So I want to say a special shout out to Rosario for helping me to source this location for today's show. Yeah, really appreciate it. Okay, so we're live there. Okay, so we got Andrew in the live chat. Hey, Andrew. Anybody else in the live chat, please feel free to post. We are going to be covering the live chat throughout the day as well. Got about 9 minutes or so before we have the US Open. So I'm going to just hold tight on that. Let's have a look at what happened yesterday, because yesterday was a fairly strong uptrend throughout the day. We have quite a few movers here. So let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin was one of the bigger movers yesterday. If we zoom in here, let's have a look. And let's use a naked chart. Okay. All right, so all those crypto fans, anybody who likes crypto, just zooming out a little bit here. So we are seeing more or less from the beginning of the year going all the way up to today. And if I had to kind of put a line in the sand, I think all-time highs are, I think they're in play over the next few days. I really don't see at this point in time us not getting closer to all-time highs, subject to any announcements or anything that may come out of the White House. So just looking here to see, in the next sort of, let's say the next 2 weeks or so, we could see a fairly nice continuation higher here in Bitcoin. So I'm going to be watching that closely. I know quite a few of the community members are active with Bitcoin, and they kind of like the 24/7 nature of it as well. I'm just going to turn off my ringer. So that's off. There we go. Alrighty. All right, so Bitcoin is one to kind of watch. We'll keep it on the watch list today. It doesn't tend to move crazily after the US markets open, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. What else do we have? All right, just going down pre-market. We're not really too fussed yet. Look at the US dollar. US dollar's really been beaten up, and I really do think this is part of the Trump administration's plans here to weaken the dollar, which will essentially help in terms of imports. So just looking here, we're looking at a 3-year low in the dollar. So if you are a currency trader, you trade FX or Forex, we haven't been around these levels, what's that, since March 2022-ish. So sometimes I just like to take a step back and see, okay, how far have we come? I would look at positioning myself against some of the US dollar crosses. This could also impact Bitcoin as well if the US dollar continues its descent. And then again, we wouldn't be too surprised if we did get a bit of a relief bounce here after being so oversold. So what we like to do usually is focus in on what would be the Asian session range, which is a gray shaded area. And that's exactly what we got. We got a big sort of spike there after non-farm payroll. So to be expected when something is so overly sold, it's very likely that there's some sort of relief bounce higher. And that's what we saw this morning. Let's scroll down here. Let's have a look at gold. So gold, as the US dollar went up, gold went down. So breaking out of the Asian range, as would be expected, gold tends to move inversely to the US dollar. So it could be a buying opportunity for those who do like gold. If we have a look at where it's been as well, let's go back to see the all-time highs in gold. It's still very much, I think, in an uptrend, and we're seeing dips being bought. So gold, if you do like that sort of safety play, going for something that's a little bit more uncorrelated, I guess, uncorrelated with the rest of your portfolio, and you want a little bit of safety, then I would definitely recommend something like getting in some gold. If you already are in gold, maybe looking to buy more on some of the dips that we see. Okay, so we got 3 minutes left. Let's go. Oil had a little bounce yesterday, but nothing major. This is kind of fizzled out recently, and this is also very, very oversold. If we have a quick look at oil, let's use daily chart. Yeah, I don't personally trade oil, but it's on the watch list. It got a bit of a bid into the geopolitical unrest, and then it's kind of cooled right back down. So something that we look at, but we don't actively trade. And this is the S&P 500 moving higher here after that non-farm payrolls came out. So we got that data, and what we'll do is let's have a look and see what that data was. Here we go. Okay, so non-farm, so a slew of employment data came out better than expected. So 147K. For those of you who do keep a close eye on the news, this will be a little bit late for you. But we do want to highlight here that so we usually look at non-farm payrolls, which is this one, was expected to be 111,000, and it came in higher. So better than expected, 147,000. So more jobs is good for the economy. And then also this one here, unemployment rate better than expected. So really all round good news that we got about an hour ago. So good news sometimes is good for equities and risk. Good news sometimes is bad for equities. Bad news is sometimes good for equities, and bad news is sometimes bad. So for right now, based off of us getting two pieces of really good news, it looks like good news is good for today, as we push to what could be, I think it is a new all-time high. Yep, we're at a new all-time high in the pre-market here for S&P. So just keeping an eye on that. I'm going to stop there as we get ready for the final minute of the pre-market before we actually get started with actual trading. Just a reminder, the show is being brought to you by City Traders Imperium, and one of the best prop firms out there. Really take an opportunity to look into them, celebrating their 7th birthday in a few more days. So they've been around supporting traders for the last 7 years, which is very significant. So check all their information down in the details to this video. Okay, let's get started with, here we go. All right, cool. Perfect. 40 seconds left. And what I'm going to do now, let's see what the high was, 6248.3. Okay, 6248.3, 68. 48.3. Okay, I think we're getting that opening bell right now. All right, so market's about to open any second now. Should be opening somewhere around here. Let's see. Yeah, right there. Here we go. So we got the first, what we call the first price for SPX here is just above the pre-market high, 62.50. All right. Let's see where we go from here. Market's open, and now it's time to rock and roll. Let's leave that. All right, so what we're doing now is setting up our opening range for the day. And to do that, what we'll do is we're gonna set our highs and lows for the first minute and then for the first 5 minutes. And I was reminded the other day, a lot of it is just process, following your process, trusting on your process, being able to say, look, I know that this process works, and I've done this many times over. Okay. All right. Okay, so we just got a question here from Andrew in the live chat saying, opening at highs, are you cautious for SPX open long? I mean, I'm open to it. I'm open to SPX continuing what would be a very legendary uptrend of the last few weeks and months. So definitely, I know that sometimes you just have to go with the trend. The trend is your friend until it ends or until it bends. And in this case, I do not want to be fighting this move that we've been seeing over the last few weeks. Extremely strong, powerful move up. Okay. All right, so the first minute, let's have a quick look here. All right, so the first minute here is looking, we got a bullish candle to start the first candle of the day. High is 62, 42.17. Okay. All right, 62.40, 62.52. And then 62.48.27. There we go. All right, and then we lock that off, and then we will make this low. Here we go. I'm giving away all the good secrets today, guys and girls. 62.48.27. Okay, and 62.53. 53.92. Those of you who've seen me trade before and are familiar with the strategy would know that we are just looking at what was the highest price reached in the first 5 minutes and what was the highest price reached in the first 1 minute of the day. So starting to kind of test that high already. I mean, I don't know. I think if we continue moving higher, then the rules are follow the trend. The trend is your friend. But I'm going to wait. And I'm going to follow the process here as we watch this price kind of stall out here, sitting pretty patiently here. Okay, now on the above the current price, there's not really much to go off of. There's not a whole lot of recent levels or recent highs as reference points. So we're basically what I call and what quite a few other people call, we're in blue skies territory. So blue skies territory generally means we are pretty much cleared for takeoff, and we'll be using today's high as a sort of reference point. There are some ways to build out Fibonacci extensions, and that is something that we could probably work on doing. But in terms of previous levels from before today, we are at all-time highs here. So in a way, it's kind of like uncharted waters, and that's why a lot of people just call it blue skies, where it's pretty much smooth sailing if it continues higher, and then we'll use the day's high as a resistance level. Okay. Okay, so we just got the top of the opening range high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the fifth candle. And it looks like 62, 55, 43. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 62, 55, 43. Okay, I hear somebody's trying to get into this room, so I may have to go on mute for a minute. I was told I had access to this room, so it should be fine. But if you do hear me go silent for a minute, you know why. Okay, so that's the 1 minute candle. Let's look at the 5 minute candle holding up. I'm a little bit cautious here. We have come a very long way. I kind of want to see how we finish off this 15 minutes. So generally speaking, this is the first 1 minute high and low, and then this is the first 5 minute high and low, this bad boy here. And now we're basically seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 very strong upward moves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare to place a trade on the long side here as we continue marching higher. All right. So thanks again to CTI, CD Traders Imperium. I've got my account set up now, and I'm able to trade on my CTI account, which is extremely, extremely helpful. And I will be placing trades on that account and also on my other account as well. And I'll be letting you know which trades we're getting into. As a reminder, as always, this is very important. Nothing that we say and nothing that is said should be construed as investment advice. Please remember to consult your own financial advisor. Please conduct your own analysis and consult an investment professional before making any decisions based on topics that are mentioned in this show. That's also provided in the description to this video. And just a reminder that you are responsible for your decisions, and this is not financial advice. Also, if you're enjoying the video and you're enjoying what we're sharing, feel free to like, subscribe, and share this video with family, friends, loved ones, people that you think may benefit from this sort of video, people interested in it, or people that are in this space already who would benefit from videos like this. All right. So we are about 9 minutes into the trading day. And so far, we've left what we call the 5-minute zone, the 5-minute opening range. And I'm going to quickly have a look at what's available. And we're gonna see about placing a trade right now. Okay, price is coming back a little. So sometimes what we'll get is instead of making it very easy for everyone and simply just breaking out and continuing higher, sometimes what we'll get is we'll get a initial sort of just testing the waters, and then we either come back to the what we call the opening range high, which is kind of more or less where we are now. Sometimes we'll touch or we'll revisit the 1 minute opening range high. Right now we're at the 5-minute opening range high. And then sometimes what we'll get is a second move higher. And the second move tends to be the one that is what I call the genuine move, or the second line. Anybody been to New Orleans in the chat? If you have been to New Orleans, please put a Y in the chat. Second line bands in New Orleans are crazy. So anyway, get a little off topic. So if we let's call this the first line, then this guy here is the second line. So you want to kind of catch the second line. And if you have never heard a second line band, YouTube second line bands New Orleans, crazy. So this is what we want. We want the second line. Usually the first line is when all the new people coming into the market will get in. So they'll be buying on the breakout possibly, or buying at the top here. And then all of a sudden they find themselves kind of underwater or in a unrealized loss position because they got in a little too early and they jumped in on that first line. So what we like to do is we like to kind of play it slow, especially in the first 15 minutes of the day. And we generally like to see a second line move. And that's kind of maybe what we're seeing here. There's also another scenario which is possible, which is we move even lower here. And in this case, we could break out below the opening range. That's a scenario that we always like to keep very much front of mind, because stocks don't only go up. S&P, despite what's happened the last few months, I think since April, S&P does not only go up, but we have to kind of be mindful of a potential pullback here. So let's see. I'm gonna have a quick look at what's going on here. We could see a second line move. So we got that yesterday, actually. Yesterday was a great example of S&P breaking above the opening range, and I'll show you a screenshot of it. So we had the first line, which was kind of like a tester. I call it almost like a head fake. We come back down in the opening range, and then the second one is the one you want to be on. That's the real move. All right. So having a quick look now. If we do get a second line, that means that we'll probably push to a new high of day. So current high of day is coming in right here at about 62.57, give or take. So if we do see a second line, it will be kind of confirmed if we can climb and maintain above 62.57 on this second line higher. And if that is the case, then we'll be looking to get long here. So just breaking news, Trump to speak with Putin at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Breaking news, haven't gotten to use the breaking news recently. So there we go. Breaking news, everybody. Just saw a post on Truth Social saying that Donald Trump will be speaking to Putin, Vladimir Putin, at 10 Eastern time. So let's see what happens with that. Okay, looks like second line is playing out. So far, so good. And we are having a look at getting in here. Okay, I got some feedback on my multitasking earlier this week. So we're working on the multitasking. Definitely working on the multitasking. Okay, second line's playing through so far, so good. And we're just preparing for if we can clear this high of day, which is really all we have to go off of at the moment, then we're looking to get in long here. All right, let's see if we can get sorted out. Okay, so we're pausing here at the high of day. No other major news. Actually, there is news. ISM PMIs coming out in about 15 minutes. So we're going to want to keep an eye out on that as well. Probably the last big news announcement for today. So be aware of ISM Services PMI due to be 50.8, and that's going to be in just about 15 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Woo, okay. So now we're getting what we called the second line. We kind of set that out earlier. Anybody just joining us, welcome. We've just kind of set out what we think could be a possible scenario here where we're getting a second push higher in S&P, and we're looking at getting in on the long side here. So what I'm going to do is change this to green because we're above it, and then change this to green as well. So we just made a new high of day, and that is also a new all-time high for S&P 500. We're trading S&P 500. For those of you trading futures, it's ES. Actually, you know what? I've been neglecting the chat. So shout outs to City Traders Imperium as well, and Scott's team for helping to keep us on track today. Looks like we got, so Andrew's in the live chat. Andrew's saying opening at highs. Are you cautious for SPX open long? And we've gotten that opening long here. Let's see what else we got. 4th of July fireworks starting early, breaking out high. Then we got Destiny. Welcome, Destiny. Thank you very much for joining us today. Destiny saying, let's go. and high impact news in 4 minutes. We got that, and then we also got that announcement as it trickles higher. I'm actually gonna pull the trigger here on this one. We're getting some, maybe this is some anticipation of this Trump meeting. All right, so we are long here. We're getting long here as we continue what we're calling the second line. I gotta find some second line music. It's like authentic horns. You got trumpets, trombones, the tuba plays the bass. Then you got one guy on the bass drum and a snare and like a cymbal of some sort. And then you got all the trumpets, saxophones. Yeah, it's basically a brass band, but it is tight. It is tight. So in the middle of the second line here, we are in. So I am going to, let's see. Okay. Just bear with me for one moment. Okay. All right, so the music we're listening to now is not second line, but it's still kind of groovy. I need to get some second line music. That's what I need to do. All right, let's see if we pull up. Let's go here and let's go trading view. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pull up. So we got the ISM coming. Let's look at Truth Social. And this would have been the breaking news that we had earlier. Okay, so yep. So Trump's even mentioning that that employment data that we got earlier, which was very, very good, very, very good. Shows that the labor force is actually doing better than expected, and that's great. All right. So far so good. Good news is good. What a great night it was. One of the most consequent bills ever. Okay, here we go. This was the post that we talked about earlier. So President Trump posted on Truth Social 10 minutes ago, "We'll be speaking to President Putin of Russia at 10 a.m. Thank you." So we got to keep our fingers on the pulse. It's not... That's not the one. It's not like you wake up in the morning and you know exactly what your day is going to be like. So that's 3 o'clock. So that's going to be in 10 minutes. That's actually the same time as we get PMI. That's roughly 10 minutes from now. So yeah, just keep an eye out on that. I don't know if there'll probably be, the last time he spoke to Putin, it was roughly an hour long. So that's good to know. And also there was a bit of a summary, so like a little rough summary from the White House came out about maybe 20 minutes after. So we're talking maybe in an hour and a half, we hear a bit about how this talk goes. And then also we also got somewhat of a summary from the Russia side. So Putin's team also came up with a summary. So we'll look out for that. And Trump's talking about the jobless claims. This is amazing. This is incredible. Not used to the president commenting directly a few minutes after employment data is released. So interesting. Let's leave that for now. So starting to kind of stay up there, still kind of in the second line. I'd like to see if we can kind of stay above that first line high. So if we call that the first line. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Not sure if that's happening for everybody or just with futures. I'm sorry, just with the cash. If anybody just saw a big, quick move higher in S&P, please let me know. I guess it's not that big, but something. Maybe that's just a little glitch on my signal. The Wi-Fi here where I am is quite good, so I'm not I'm just going to leave it for now, but it looks like we're definitely cruising higher here. And like I said, I don't really, this is a little bit embarrassing. I don't have any targets. I guess I could do a 2-to-1. So my good friend Andrew would actually be telling me to do the 2-to-1. So let's do that. Long position, got in. I'll get the exact price that we got in. Here we go. So I'm going to be moving my stop loss up here. This is all I can really go off as we are hitting all-time highs. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to just monitor our stop loss. So we got in here roughly. This is where we're targeting. And this is our stop loss. We're actually going to move our stop loss up to protect our unrealized profits. This is a 5-minute chart, and this is a 1-minute chart. Okay, so stop loss now. I'm just going to move that to break even so that we are protecting our profits. So in about 6 minutes, we will get that ISM data out of the US, and we'll also get the start of what we've just found out is a call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Okay. So the more green on the screen, the more we want to sit tight and hold this. And I need to make a note to remember to go to yesterday's chart and kind of show how we just chugged higher throughout the day yesterday. Okay, so yeah, we're in the position here. We're up, currently up about $450 to the good. And stop loss is gonna be in profit. All right, let's do profit, stop loss. Okay, so what we're doing is we got two trains of thought here. Stop loss is in profit, so we can move that up. And we'll just put the stop loss here. So stop loss is here. Okay, now 2 trains of thought here is we could get out before that news in 5 minutes, which is probably the most responsible thing to do. And yeah, that's probably what I will do. The other thing that we could do, I'm just trying to, here we go. The other thing we could do is we could put our stop loss at, so move our stop loss further into profit is option 1, or we could get out before the news. That's what I'm trying to say. So here's our stop loss. Let's make it a little thicker. And let's call it stop loss. Okay, there we go. And basically what we're gonna try and do is move this higher and higher and higher. Almost like, I think of it like squeezing the toothpaste out of the tube. So we're not gonna move it down. And actually, you know what? Jerry would suggest using a trailing stop, which will automatically do this for you. So trailing stops are fantastic. My trailing stop game is completely needs a makeover, but that's also another way to kind of move. It moves on its own. So right now, stop loss is in profit, and we got, what's that, 3 minutes left until we get that data. So let's see here, 3 minutes. Yeah, it's starting to turn around a bit. I think I might take the profit here. Let's see. Yeah. If we can't continue holding up here, then I will definitely take the profit on this trade, and then consider getting back in. And let's start that timer. There we go. So 3 minutes until we get that PMI data out of the US. Our target is here, but we also have a stop loss here. Let's see if we do, there we go. Stop loss here. Okay, is that, there we go. Okay, and then where we entered was roughly here. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. There we go. All right, so we entered here. We're now up, and our stop loss is in profit. So we're very curious. So I don't know if you've seen, I think it's Elmer Fudd. We have our stop loss here, but I always say, like, you don't want to say it too loudly because you don't want the price to hit your stop loss and then continue in the same direction. So as Elmer Fudd would say, you have to be very quiet. Very quiet. Yeah. We're going to slowly move our stop loss up as we get closer and closer to that data. And what I will probably do, I'm going to do the right thing. I'll take the profit right before the news, before that PMI comes out. I think that's what I'm going to do. Still undecided, actually. Took a similar trade on Friday, and it kept going in our favor. Let's see. Starting to pull back a little with about 1 minute left. It's getting close to our stop loss. Let's see. All right, I'm getting out. I'm getting out here. There we go. All right, so 300 to the good, 300 on that trade, and we're happy, and we're out before PMIs. Not a bad trade. Follow the rules. Didn't squeeze all we could out of the tube of toothpaste, but I'll take 300 to the good any day. There we go. Okay, so we did what we needed to do. Yep, $300 is saved in the account, and we can now refocus and reassess where do we want to go next. And of course, looks like it's getting a bit of a bounce here. Let's see what that data was. So ISM PMI services came in right in line. So exactly as projected. There we go. So the forecast was for 50.8, and the actual was 50.8 on the nose. Factory orders coming in a little bit higher, expected to be 8.1, and it was 8.2. I think the main one was ISM services PMI. So directly smack dab on the number, right on the nails. And of course, we get a nice little continuation higher. People probably cashing in advance of that. And we're looking at, we're going to just give it a moment to kind of settle off. All right. So similar to what was that Friday, very similar trade to Friday, where we got a nice breakout of the opening range at the open. We got in and out before the data. And now it looks like at this particular point in time, with about 31 minutes into the trading day, it looks like it wants to continue moving in the direction of this, what we call the second line. All right, let's see. I wanted to just share the trade just for pure transparency. I haven't actually taken a trade yet with our CTI account. But I am using my own account, private account, and I will quickly show that. Now, looks like it wants to continue higher. What I usually like to do is kind of wait after getting out of a trade. I would like to see it kind of at least give me some sort of discount This is buying the high of the day. This is buying the all-time high. And this is the catch-22 in action. Right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Just got a message here. Mandela just opened trading view. Nervous to get in now. I know the feeling. I know what you're saying. It is very tempting here. Okay. Let's see if we can share this. All right, cool. Let's share this one. All right, so this is the trade from earlier today. We ended up going with the 62.60 calls, and realized profit and loss was 306 on this one. So nice, basic, simple in and out trade. More or less got in. Where was it? It was more or less here, and then we ended up getting out just before that news came out here. So we like to also try our best to review our trades. We can't always do it every day, but we'll sometimes try and do it on the weekend, or we'll try and review a series of days after the fact. But that's basically what we traded earlier today. And this is showing the follow through after. So as we were talking about earlier during the actual trade, we got that first line. We got a pullback pretty much to the opening range high. And then we got what's, I guess, becoming this second line higher. Yeah, and that's it. That's in a nutshell, that's more or less what we like to trade. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of buying the all-time highs, especially without some sort of pullback. So what I'll do is look at the 5 minute. Woo, that's a really good 5 minute. So like to look at the 9 EMA on the 5 minute. That's sometimes a good entry area, but right now that's not really showing us. That's not really close. The next one that we look for is the opening range high, which is we're not really close to. I don't necessarily like to buy the 1 minute 9 EMA. So between two minds, do we go in again, risk giving back some of that 300, or do we just wait and see if there is a bit of a pullback? I do like to get in on a dip or a discount, some sort of red candle. It's not giving us that opportunity now. As you can see, the train has left the station, and it doesn't want to let anybody else on. So let's see. I do think it's also being driven here by that positive news that we got earlier. So it would have been the non-farm payrolls came in extremely really good. So for those of you who don't know, non-farm payrolls, we're using Forex Factory, but you can also use various tools. CTI has tools as well for economic calendars. This is my personal preference in terms of explanation and layout. That's it. But yeah, it's basically a change in the number of employed people during the previous month. So what we'll probably do, we'll do some webinars explaining the key data that really drives prices. But basically what we got at an hour before markets opened was the economists and all the expectations were for there to be 111 kind of jobs, increase by 111,000 jobs in the US from what would have been June. And instead, there was 147,000, which is better. So maybe Trump his plan is working, creating jobs based off of this data this morning. That's what's happening. And then secondly, to add to that, we also got that unemployment rate coming down by 0.1%. So down by 0.1% and 0.2% better than expected. So it was actually expected to increase by 0.1 and it decreased by 0.1. So off the back of that, we're getting this sort of slow chug higher, 2 steps up, 1 step down, 2 steps up, 1 step down here. I'm going to go back to the live chat really quickly because I want to show the live chat some love. Here we go. All right. So setting up on a long, good work, good work. Meditative orb, EA, hit, take profit on a pump, manually long on S&P. Very nice. Very nicely done. Incredible. Incredible. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody who has joined our live chat today and who's joined our live stream. If you're watching the replay, thank you also to you for watching. We are here each and every Thursday to watch New York markets open. If there is an opportunity to trade, then we will take those trades. We also like to keep it very simple. So we don't tend to try and chase every single ticker that's moving. If we can make between $300 and $900 on trading this S&P, then we're happy to take that trade. It also helps, for me, it helps with the focus. I used to try and trade a lot of different tickers, and what I found is I would be up on one, down on the other, and I wasn't able to focus on any one thing very well. So I ended up kind of breaking even a lot of times. So everybody's different. I know the way that I work. I know the way my brain works. And I would rather focus on one thing and do that extremely well than to try and focus on many different things. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I think, are we still? Just trying to see if we're still live on the live stream. We are. Okay. Thank you one and all for watching New York Open with me today. I really enjoy these sessions. Like I said, we've just moved house, and apparently it's going to take a few more days to get internet in our house. But I do want to say a thank you to Rosario helping me to get this really nice space. It's actually quite big for us to use for today's show. And with that, I will say have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday. And until next time, happy trading, be safe, and trade safe. Take care.